Hello, hello, and welcome to my show, Rising Through Grief. I am your host, Shalise Stevens, and I am doing this show because I know how important it is for people to have support while they're going through grief. I understand that there are so many things that have led us to where we are in our lives, and we need that constant connection and support in order to get through. It's I decided to do this outside today because it's such a beautiful day. It's been very, the wind has died down, and I was like, you know what? It's time to come outside. So you're going to hear the noises of nature, probably a plane fly over, but it's a live show, and every once in a while we got to mix it up, right? So and also, like, some of the things that help us through grief is just being able to connect with nature and get outside and do those things that give us comfort and hope, and we can surround ourselves with that. So this show today is called Fueled by Grief. And the reason why I decided to do this topic today is because when you really think about the people who impact your life or are extremely successful in the things that they're doing or to make changes in the world, it's because they've been through so much in their own life. They've suffered from tragedies and traumas and have had really either nasty childhoods or something in their life happen that has greatly impacted their life and put them on a, like, they've had to change directions in where they thought that they were going. It's put them somewhere that they never thought they would be. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, is that so many people don't know how to start. They don't know where to start, but then also you have a choice. When something traumatic happens to you, you can either move forward and use it to fuel you and use it to give you a passion that you never thought you would have, or a purpose that you never thought you had had, or you can use that to stay victimized. You can use that and say, you know what, this happened to me, and this is why I'm the way I am, and that's why I can't do what I want to do with my life. That's why I can't be where I want to be in my life. It's those, the woe is me, those things that you say, why me? Why is this happening to me? Life is so unfair. Life has given me so many things to not be happy for. And we all do that, right? Like, we all get to be victims of our circumstances at times. We all get to be victims when we have something terrible happen to us, and even after, we get to choose to be that victim, and sometimes being that victim is important, and having that ability to just step back and cry and really struggle through those moments. You're going to struggle when you go through things. That's not a question. You're going to be sad. You're going to grieve. You're going to go through all the things that grieving does. And it's not something that you're going to just get through in a day or two. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to be a victim. I even have times when I say, what is pulling my victim card? And I pull my victim card, and I'm like, you know what, not today. I get to do whatever I want today, to wallow in my own self-pity. Sometimes I get to do that. Sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. Sometimes I don't want to, follow my exercise program or my eating program or whatever it is that I'm doing at that point. Sometimes I just don't want to do it because I just want to be sad. And that's okay too. Sometimes you want to be mad. It's okay to be mad too. However, you can't stay there for long. You can't remain as well. I mean, you can, but if you want to rise through it and grow through it and move through it, you need to start doing something. I was reading my book today. I've been reading this amazing book called There's Nothing to Fix, and by Suzanne Jones, and it's awesome book. And I've been challenging myself lately to read 10 pages every day. And so I've chosen this book because I love what she has to say. But here she quotes Eleanor Roosevelt: "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing you think you cannot do." And that piece of it, you must do the thing you think you cannot do, that really spoke to me today. It really showed me that, I mean, it was just in alignment with what I was going to talk about today. So it was really perfect. And I was really grateful to read that, because the thing is that every time we think that we can't do something, if we start to take those steps, start to move forward, we're going to find that we can. We actually can do a lot more, and we're capable of doing a lot more than we think we are. We are amazing human beings. Human beings adapt to their situations, to their surroundings, to whatever it is that they've been thrown. We just went through a pandemic not too long ago, and I mean, we're still on the verge of catching up from that. And I think that this is something that shifts our world immensely. We're never going to be the same from it. When people kept saying, like, let's go back to normal, there is no normal. There is no, this is our new normal. And that's one of the things that's really impactful about, or when you go to heal, and when you go to start to heal, you have to realize that normal doesn't exist. And normal is this thing that we all hope for. I want to be normal. I want to feel normal. I want to, but what does that mean? Like, you have to ask yourself, if that's what you say, then take a step back and say, what is normal? What is my normal? Because your normal is going to be different than my normal. I can guarantee you that, because we all live in different situations. We all have different jobs. We all have different family lives, or no families. And we have, we're either by ourselves and we have to create our community, or we are not by ourselves and we still, decide to create our community and find that world and those things that fit best for our lives. And that's one of the ways that we can really start to be fueled by our grief. We can start to be fueled by these magnificent things that happen to us that are devastating. It's perspective. It's those stories that we tell ourselves and that keep us into either victim mode, or to fuel our grief and to be able to move on. So I have some amazing people in my life, and I'm very blessed to have them. And one of the things, and I know I've said this before, but one of the things that keep me going is actually the feeling of progress over perfection. There's no way that you're going to go through something traumatic and all of a sudden be like, I'm going to use this and I'm going to be great and I'm going to move forward and make this huge impact on this world and become a public speaker and a writer. When I was going through my trauma, so I lost my son when he was 4 years old, and it was in 2004. And I had a feeling inside of me that one day I was going to be able to use my story to help others. That's something that I knew. I think it's something inside of me, because it's not like I had an easy childhood and was, just like floated through life. Like, life has always been pretty difficult for me. And I've always been able to find a way to make it what I wanted in a way that, gave me happiness. I was able to adapt to my surroundings and find a way to make things a little bit better. So I think that's already been ingrained in me. And that's something that is just part of me. We all have these different personality traits and different strengths and different abilities. I think that's one of my strengths. I know that's one of my strengths, is to be able to always find some kind of silver lining in no matter what happens. So when this happened, I was able to say, I know that this is going to be impactful to somebody. And that's what got me to start writing in my journal. And I would write different things, poetry, different journal entries, knowing that one day I wanted to turn it into a book, and knowing one day I wanted to use it to be able to help somebody else. However, at that time, that was not what I was doing in my own life. I knew that I needed to take time to heal, because if I was going to be impactful, I needed to be able to show up for myself first, and to really move through this pain and these things inside of me that were I'm suffering and painful, and I was definitely a victim. There were so many times when I even told myself, like, I really want to be different. I really want to do these other things, but I just can't do it right now. And I fell into a very dark path, and I was working on trying to heal myself and things like that, but it wasn't all like, okay, let's just flow through this healing process and be beautiful and lovely. And I will tell you this, not even to this day, not even now, is it always flowing and beautiful and roses and amazing opportunities that I wake up in the morning and say, today is the day. Like, that's not where I'm at yet. I do hope to be there one day, where I am constantly fueled by my passion and my story. I really want that for myself. So that's what motivates me a lot of the time, of, I'm going to continue to try to work on these things, because little by little, I want to get to this place way down the road. We don't know when that's going to happen, but it's not about then, it's about right now. So not all of us have this feeling of like constant like motivation and drive. And again, I'm not constantly motivated and driven, but not all of us can see that light. We don't all have that opportunity to in ourselves, or that wiring in ourselves, to see the silver lining. So at that point, ask yourself, what is it that I want? What is it that I truly, truly want in my life? And when you ask yourself that question right there, that takes you one step closer to being fueled by your grief or your situation or whatever, to move forward. Then it's a step forward. And it's not staying stuck in that victim mode, because you're asking yourself a question, well, what do I want? I'm pretty sure that you're not going to say, well, what I want is to constantly be sad for the rest of my life. I don't want this. And I'm saying, like, I understand that there are mental illnesses. I understand that there are things that we need help to overcome. However, there is help for that too. And that's where, if you are seeking and searching to better yourself, even with these mental illnesses, even with things that might really, you might suffer from deep depression, you might have massive anxiety, you might get panic attacks all the time, and it's debilitating. You might have physical ailments that you aren't able to do. I mean, like, it would be like my mom saying, I want to see again, and then expecting herself to be able to see again when she has an eye condition that is never going to allow her to have that again. It's going to be like me wanting to have my back completely fine again. Maybe it will, but it's going to, as my body gets older, I need to work harder in order, and sometimes not as hard, in order for my back to heal. And I have to be careful. I have accepted the fact that am always going to have to be careful with my back. My mom has accepted the fact that she's always going to be blind. My friend who just had a hip surgery is in a different position because she thought that she was going to have this problem for the rest of her life, but then she got hip surgery and she's starting to heal. But she chose to have that hip surgery because she knew it was a step closer to the goals that she's made. We all have this process, no matter how driven or motivated you are. We all have to start from somewhere, and we all start in a place where it's hard. Every single one of us has a moment where it's hard to start. It's hard to get up in the morning. It's hard to do those things that we tell ourselves we want, but our bodies, our minds, our spirits, or something is stopping us from getting that. Grief is one of those things that when your life is going in a direction that you hope it to go, it stops it dead in its tracks. You're laid off from work. What are you going to do? You need to pay your bills. You need to make money. You need to have something that's financially coming in. So you panic, right? There's another friend of mine, her husband had surgery on his, I think it was his back, and he's going to be out for 3 months. What is she going to do? Well, she reached out to people. She said, I need help. And financially and all these things. And so we had a short conversation about different resources that maybe she can look into while her husband's recovering, while she's the only person making money and bringing in income for their family. But good for her for reaching out, because that's a step forward. That's not her being a victim. That's her saying, I need help, and welcoming help. That's another thing that we need to do when we're starting to reach out and starting to take those steps forward. We need to allow help in our world. We just have to. We have to put ourselves in those positions that we can say, you know what? One day I get to help somebody else when they're going through this. So I'm going to allow somebody else to help me. And that's the thing. When you allow somebody else to help you and to really move you forward, you're in a position of your own. You're empowered at this point to help somebody else down the road, to say, this was my journey. This is what happened to me. And maybe you're not even all the way through it, but then you can connect and you can say, I'm at this level, you're at this level. Where can we go together? Or how can, we help each other through this? That's what building a tribe is all about. That's what building a community is all about, is understanding that, yeah, we're all suffering. We all can remain victims in our world. We all can. The trash is coming to get picked up right now. We all have trash that we need to get through and get out. And that's just one of those amazing things that we realize, that there are little steps that we can take, and they're not big steps. In my last video, it's a stepping process. It's those things of telling ourselves, like, we have to have a reason. We have to have our why. What's your why? And are you choosing? And really look at this and really ask yourself. And I understand that you're going to need to be in a position where you can, but what has led you here? What are those things that have happened to get you to where you are? I know I talk about, weight a lot and things, because I'm a woman. My body is not always my friend. At least that's what I've told myself. However, I am in a mindset now of saying, you know what? My body is my friend. It's gotten me here. This is a beautiful path that it's on. Have I done things to absolutely get me to where I'm to gain a little bit more weight, or to lose a little bit more weight, or to be where I'm at? Yeah, I've done that. I've made every choice that I wanted to make. Nobody is forcing food down my throat. Nobody is forcing me to work out. If I lose 40 pounds and I'm at tip-top shape, and I decide to be a bodybuilder or whatever because of it, I get to choose that. But That's not my choice. That's not my path. And that's okay. There are others that is their path because it helps them through their world. But what is it that I'm choosing to do today? Well, I'm choosing to have my diet in a place that's fueling my body. Again, not saying I'm eating foods because it's good for me or not. What's fueling my body? And that's what we can ask. What's fueling our minds? What's fueling our hearts? What's fueling our souls? It's about how we convert what we're doing into the next step. We're becoming greater each and every step of the way. We're becoming more each and every step of the way. That's what we're doing to fuel ourselves through grief, even. And I mean, it's not easy all the time. I know I've said that now several times, but it's not easy. And I'm not wanting anybody to think that it's just as easy as waking up and being ready. It's those little steps, those little pieces of gratitude that you can find, those little pieces of love in your heart, and love for your fellow man, even, and love for your own life. We're given things and we're given choices all the time. We are not the only people on this planet that are going through hard things. We get to take that moment and say, yeah, these things happen, or I chose to do this and it was terrible for me, and it was terrible for another person. I hurt somebody. I made somebody mad. I made somebody angry. I'm suffering. I'm all alone. I'm all these things, and I put myself here. So many times we put ourselves in our situations and we blame everything else for it. We blame our surroundings. We blame the fact that we don't have money. We blame the fact that we've made terrible choices in our lives. But you're not making a terrible choice right now. And if you are, ask yourself why. Why are you making that terrible choice for yourself? Is it because you don't care? Own it. Own it. If you don't care, if you don't want to be there, if you are not ready to make that next step, own it. If you're going to get mad at yourself for it, then take another step back and say, okay, why am I angry with myself for making this choice? Why am I not doing the things that I know will make me happier, will make me stronger, will make me better? And if the answer is because I don't have the energy to do it, there you go. Break that down a little bit more and say, why don't I have the energy to do this right now? What is causing me to not want to? And there could be multiple reasons. Which one of those reasons are you going to work on first? With my health and with my weight loss journey, and I need to stop saying that because I don't want it to be a weight loss journey anymore. That is not what I want. So I'm working on fixing my mindset. See, there's lots of things that we're working on. I'm working on fixing my mindset so my body is happy with the way I'm treating it. So my mind is happy with the way I'm treating my body. So my soul can look at both of them and say, all right, now we're in alignment. It's time to move forward. It's time to take those next steps. What's next? And it's such an empowering thing. It's such an incredible thing to really look back. So, for example, I am doing the 75 soft challenge. I'm 6 days into it right now. The first 5 days, because on the 75 soft, you can choose to drink alcohol or not. My vice is I like to have a drink. I like to be able to, at the end of the day, if it's been really hard, have a glass of wine, have a cocktail, whatever. Sometimes I drink a little more than just one, but that was my thing. However, I looked at my list of things to do and I was like, okay, well, what I really want to do right now is make sure that I'm meditating for my 5 to 10 minutes a day, and I'm reading my chapters, and I'm getting my water in, or my pages. And that's what I did for the first, and workouts, mostly I did my workouts. But that's what I did for the first 5 days. And instead of beating myself up for it, I've told myself, way to go. You did half of the things on your list. What's next? And this morning I woke up ready to do more, to have more opportunity, to give myself more than I did this last week. It's a stepping stone process. I have another friend who she has this amazing cleanse, and it's a 3-week cleanse. And for the first week, you mentally prepare for the next 2. And that has been so impactful for me too, because I'm like, that's beautiful, because that's telling yourself you're getting ready. You're moving in the direction, slowly but surely, baby steps, moving. You are fueling yourself through the grief. You're fueling yourself to get to another level, to make your purpose that much more impactful for others and for yourself. And that's what I really love about my program that I am doing, that I've created with my friend and business partner Trish. And we have gone through a lot of the steps, and a lot of the steps that we have, you can take no matter where you are at in your grieving level, as long as you're ready. You have to be ready. You have to stop saying I'm a victim and start saying I get to choose where my next steps can be, where my next steps are going to take me. And if I falter from that, if I waver from that, if one day I decide, forget it, it's okay. But no matter where you're at, our program is going to take you a little bit further on your journey. It's going to help you find your purpose a little bit deeper. And maybe by the end of it, what you think your purpose is going to be, it might change. And that's okay too, because as we fluctuate, we adapt to our surroundings. We become stronger. We become more clear as long as we're putting in the work. So my message to you today is, remember that it's okay if you need to pull the victim card. It's okay if you need to do that sometimes. But what can you do today to fuel yourself through your grief and get yourself to a place where you feel confident in yourself, in your life, in your surroundings, and with others? Thank you so much for joining me today, and we will see you next week.